Good afternoon, Temecula Valley. And listen, I just wanted to catch up with us a little bit and wish everybody a happy Labor Day. But also just to double back a little bit on some of the material from yesterday. So I know we looked at 11 scriptures yesterday, and that's a lot. And one of the things I wanted to just come back to and reinforce a little bit was this idea that the gospel, as we have defined it, generally I think we define it in a way that is too small. And we assume that it means only the Christian notion of salvation. But what I wanted to make sure that everybody walked away with from yesterday is that the gospel, in the sense of the news about God and God's plan for us, it is revealed again with Abraham in the promise to bless all nations through him. It is reiterated in the prophets in the line of the tribe of Judah. It is reiterated again in the Ruth narrative explicitly, where a woman from outside the covenant community, Ruth, is betrothed and is kind of grafted in, quite literally, to the people of Israel. And of course, her line becomes the line of King David. And then all the way through into Isaiah and the other major prophets, you see these themes of God coming back to good tidings and beautiful feet, and all of these forward-looking references to what the Apostle Paul and Jesus would call the gospel of Jesus Christ. So if you forget everything else that we talked about yesterday, which I understand is a possibility, please remember this, that gospel isn't just a New Testament idea, but it is the whole way of God. It is the entire description and expectation of God changing the world by intervening in human history, beginning in the garden to arrest the development of sin, beginning with the promise of Abraham to change the world by using one man to create a race of blessed people. And so Jesus is, of course, the culmination of that, and the resurrection, if you will, is the exclamation point on the end of that. It's the proof positive that we will be changed, we will be transformed, and that the death that began in the garden because of the fall no longer has mastery over God's people. And that is great news. That is the news of the gospel. So, and the second idea was this, that for us who live as people who believe in the gospel, right, that again, it's not a set of doctrines or practices. We can't boil it all down to repentance and faith and baptism and making Jesus Lord and, acting out sort of in some ways the Great Commission or the command to love our neighbor as ourselves, that it's not confined only to that. Those in some way are the expression of a gospel-centered living. But to live out the gospel means that I understand that every human being has been given good news, and they just may not know it yet, or they may not have seen it yet, or they may not have yet experienced it in their life. So my role as a messenger of the gospel is not just to believe it for myself, but it's to hold out that hope to other people by speaking to them, by sharing my experience of my faith with them, by showing them the way that a gospel-oriented person lives. And all of those actions fall under what I would consider to be the umbrella of euangelion, or evangelism, that I'm expressing good news by the way I talk, by the way I act, by the way I live, by the way I interact with other people, and that expressing the good news of Jesus Christ is not just something we do as an act of speech, but it's absolutely an act of living for God and what we would call our example. So hopefully those two big ideas did come through yesterday, that the gospel is an eternal idea. It's not just a New Testament metaphor or a New Testament paradigm. And secondly, that the gospel is more than just reaching out and speaking or sharing the faith that we have, but it's an entire way of viewing the world. And it's an entire way of living and expressing the gospel through our lives and our actions with every area of life in which we live and every person with whom we have connection. Have a great Labor Day, and I hope that this has been a great refresher and it clarifies what I know was a lengthy message from yesterday. Have a great day.